Good morning. This video is about my bike trip to Badrinath in 2019. I had taken a lot of photos and videos during the trip, but I never had the intent of putting all of them together as one story. So when I'm attempting to do that now, I need to do a little bit of context setting. Having said that and gotten that out of the way, let's get on with the video. It was during the mid of 2019 this plan of riding to Badrinath started hatching in my mind. Very soon I figured out one thing. Given my riding ability and the time that I have, I won't be able to ride from Bangalore to Badrinath and back to Bangalore. So I decided to ship the bike to Dehradun, start the ride from there, go all the way up to Badrinath and ride back to Bangalore. Closer to the ride time, Jagu got interested in the trip and he decided to join me. But he would join me only for the Uttarakhand part of the trip. So we'll hire a bike for him in Dehradun, do the Uttarakhand part of the circuit, and then he'll fly out of Dehradun and I'll continue my ride back to Bangalore. We had thought of November as a good time to do this trip. By end of October, I needed to ship the bike to Dehradun. So the bike was taken to the VRL facility in the outskirts of Bangalore, was packed thoroughly and put in a cage and was sent away. My friend Kunal kindly agreed to pick the bike up and keep it at his home till we landed. So on 8th of November, we took a flight to Dehradun and was received at the airport by Rudru, our dear friend, and we spent the evening at his place enjoying his warm hospitality. So the next day morning we got up early and was packed and ready to ride in the morning itself. So our plan was to ride all the way up to Jayalgarh and stop there for the evening before continuing to Badrinath on the next day. So this route would take us past Rishikesh, Devprayag and then to Jayalgarh. Jayalgarh is just before Srinagar. This is Srinagar in Uttarakhand, not the one in Kashmir. It was beautiful and the scenery was just unbelievable. But unfortunately, the roads were in pretty bad shape. There was construction happening everywhere. So that meant there were construction equipments on the road, a lot of dust, a lot of slush, and a lot of traffic pileup. But however, we took considerably long time to reach Jayalgarh. But however, towards evening, we reached Jayalgarh safely. Welcome to Devbhumi, day one of the ride from Dehradun to Srinagar. Stopped in Jayalgarh just before Srinagar. This place is called Himalayan Eco Lodges and Camps by the side of the river Alaknanda flowing down here. And these are tented accommodations. Staying here for tonight. The ride was, though short, was pretty tough. A lot of road construction, bad roads and a lot of dust. But we enjoyed it. Beautiful location. So we sat down, rested for some time, and retired early so that we can start riding early the next day. So the second day's plan was to ride to Badrinath, passing Joshimath on the way. We expected the route to be tough as we've had the experience on the first day. So we started a little early and then made progress through some beautiful prayags on the left of our route up to Joshimath. The road condition was actually tougher than what we expected, but the view from the route was stunning. So we spent quite a lot of time stopping and taking photographs on the way up. The small tea stalls littered along the road kept us motivated and warm. And once we approached Joshimath, we started seeing the snow-clad mountains at a distance. Once you cross Joshimath, you come down into a small bridge and then cross over to the other side of the river, and then the climb starts up to Badrinath. Surprisingly, this road was actually pretty good, except there were some broken patches in between. But by and large, the roads were very nice and pretty peaceful. By evening, we reached our hotel, which we had booked, which is very close to the Badrinath temple, and checked in. The hotel, though basic, had boiling hot water in the bathrooms, which made us really happy. There was snow all around, and the temperature had dropped to below zero by that time. After having a lot more tea, we took a walk to the temple, which was beautifully lit up and not very crowded at that point in time. On the way back from the temple, we saw some shops selling malai doodh, and of course, we had it. It was heavenly. So on day three morning, the plan was to ride to Sonprayag from Badrinath. So we had to trace the path back all the way to Chamoli and then turn right towards Sonprayag. So after Chamoli, we need to go past Ukhimath, Kalimath, and reach Sonprayag. But before starting the ride, we wanted to take a short ride towards Mana village, which is the last Indian village on that part of our border. This is a view towards Badrinath as seen from Mana village. The ride from Badrinath to Sonprayag was by far the toughest part of our ride. We took almost 11 hours to do the stretch in spite of riding continuously. We hardly even stopped to take photos. On top of that, I encountered some black ice for the first time in my life and had a small fall. Thankfully, nothing happened. By the time we reached Sonprayag, we were completely deflated and tired. So, after some consultations, we decided to cancel our initial plan to ride further to Uttarkashi and Gangotri and go back to Jayalgarh and chart out a new plan. The next morning, I woke up early and, with the help of a local cab, took a small trip to the village of Triyuginarayan, which is situated right above Sonprayag. There's this small temple there, and it's believed that Lord Shiva and Parvati got married there. Below is the Sonprayag town. That's the resort that we are staying in. This is the village nearby here on the way up to Triyugnarayan, and that's my driver and car for the time being to take me up here. That's the river and the resort. So, after having a nice breakfast and making a new friend, we rode towards Jayalgarh through Agastmuni, Rurdraprayag, and Srinagar. This was a peaceful ride, and we were there by early evening. Day 4 of the ride, so I'm back in Srinagar. Today we were supposed to go to Uttarkashi, but yesterday's ride to Sonprayag from Badrinath was brutal. So we kind of changed our mind. We are we came back to Srinagar instead of going to Uttarkashi, and tomorrow we are skipping going to Gangotri because the roads are horrible. Even though it's a beautiful place, the roads are horrible. Every it takes at least an hour to do about 25 kilometers. So that's the level of roads out here. So the roads are extremely bad. So there's no point in going to, and the traffic is really bad. So there's no point in going to Uttarkashi and Gangotri and tiring ourselves out. So we came back to Srinagar through a different route, and then now tomorrow we're going to go to Mussoorie. We'll stay in Mussoorie, and then day after tomorrow go back to Dehradun. So that's a change of plan. Day 4, all well. After a good night's rest, the next day morning we started our ride and went towards New Tehri Dam, and on the way to Mussoorie. This is the backwater of the Tehri Dam. The road surfaces here was fantastic and it was very good for riding. and the views all around was stunning. So by early evening, we were in Missouri.
Done with day 5 of the ride. We just reached Mussoorie. It was a short ride. It was actually the best road from Srinagar to Missouri. Came via Tehri Dam. Very nice road. This is the view from the room. It's a nice place. That's all for day 5.
After a leisurely breakfast next morning, it was a short ride back to Dehradun, where I got my bike serviced and ready for the long ride back home. Evening, I repacked all my luggage and sent all the warm clothes back with Jagu as he was flying out
Bye
from
bye.
Dehradun.
Raj is taking off to Bangalore from Dehradun.
And thus started my ride back to Bangalore. So the first stop would be Bilaspur, just after Delhi.
This is Eastern Peripheral Expressway near Delhi. I have 120 kilometer of open concrete road. Fantastic road. So day 7 of the ride started from Dehradun in the morning. Rode past Chutmalpur, Gegal Hedi, Dioband. Then took the Muzaffarnagar bypass. Then the Meerut bypass. Then after that, after Modi Nagar, I got the Eastern Peripheral Expressway. It was brilliant, about 120 kilometers of beautiful roads, 6-lane roads. So rode through that, came here, Bilaspur. So now in the room. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'm riding to Jaipur. It was a nice ride, excellent. All went well.
The next day morning, I had a leisurely start, and by afternoon, I was in Jaipur.
Day 8 of the ride in the morning started from Bilaspur after Gurugram, came all the way to Jaipur, with short ride actually. Came in about 45 minutes back. So afternoon we'll just go around and check out the local tourist attractions. Tomorrow I hope to ride to Udaipur. It's going to be a little longer ride, should be about 8 hours or so. So that's the plan, all well.
So after a nice meal, I went out and visited some of our tourist attractions in Jaipur. The next morning, I started my ride to Udaipur. I was not planning to explore any of these locations. They were just overnight stops for me on my way back to Bangalore.
So Udaipur it is. Day 9 of the ride started from Jaipur, reached Udaipur about half an hour back at about 2:30. The ride was good. Everything went peacefully. Hope to ride to Vadodara tomorrow en route to Mumbai.
Again, the evening was spent visiting some of the local attractions in and around Udaipur. The ride to Vadodara took me through some beautiful back roads, state highways, and as I moved south, it was becoming warmer and warmer.
Day 10 of the ride started from Udaipur in the morning and I'm now in Vadodara. The ride was actually very nice. I enjoyed it. Beautiful roads. The roads are, even though I came through a lot of state highways, but still the roads are very good. Even the state highways are 4-lane and with a median and stuff like that. The surface is good. The villages are actually beautiful and it's very nice. So enjoyed the ride. By the time I came here, it became really warm. So I'm here and checked into the room. Not planning to go anywhere out. Maybe evening I'll just go out for a small walk and then tomorrow morning start to Bombay as soon as possible. So that's the plan. That was day 11 of the ride. So on the way back from Udaipur to Vadodara, after getting into State Highway 5, I stopped to take a break, and a few villagers pulled up to me. So they wanted to know if I was going camping. I said, no, I'm just passing through, I'm a traveler. And so they said, okay, you should have gone to Rajasthan. I said, no, actually, I'd gone to Badrinath and I'm coming back from there. So they said, oh, okay. And then you should be going back home. Is it Mumbai? I said, yeah, I'm going back home, but not Mumbai. I'm going back to Bangalore. So they said, oh, going back to Bangalore. Where are the others? I said, no, I'm coming alone. They said, you're coming alone? And they looked at me for a few minutes like that, and they said, is this bike petrol or diesel? I said, it's a petrol bike. They said, oh, and just went away. That was a very interesting thing which happened today.
So in the evening, I went for a walk and went to Raju Omelette Shop based on friends' recommendations and had some of their signature dishes. Again, the next day morning, I started really early and reached Mumbai by afternoon.
11th day of the ride. Got into Mumbai from Vadodara. So I'll chill here for a day or two and then go back to Bangalore. So the ride was actually pretty heavy traffic, and once I got into Bombay, nothing to say anything further than that. It's Bombay traffic. So, well, I'll chill for some time. All fine.
After spending a couple of days in Mumbai with friends and family, I started back to Bangalore. The plan was to stop in Belgaum and then the next day ride back to Bangalore. Since bikes are not allowed on the Mumbai-Pune expressway, I had to take the old Pune highway, and the ride through the hills during sunrise was just brilliant.
Today's 14th day of the trip. Started from Mumbai in the morning, reached Belgaum just before 2 o'clock. So bike is parked down there and everything is well. The ride was long, about 500 kilometers, but I reached by 2 o'clock. So it's all fine. Was a little warm on the way. I had to drink a lot of water, stopped many times. But otherwise, everything is fine. I plan to start to Bangalore tomorrow early morning. Tomorrow will be the last ride day of this trip. Ciao.
So on the last day of the ride, I started early. This was the home stretch for me, getting into Bangalore, and I wanted to get into Bangalore before the evening peak traffic.
So finally, after 15 days of ride, rode from Belgaum to Bangalore, and finally in Bangalore, bike parked safely in our parking. Everything went well. Had a fantastic trip, Badrinath to Bangalore.